There you go. Well, welcome back. And we do be bringing you our next video, the 25th episode of the Maritime Medical Marijuana Show. We've got a few folks with us here today. We got Bob Dillman over here from MCPAC. He's a member of them. He's a former corrections officer, elite member, and generally pissed off about a generally pissed off medical marijuana patient. I've also got my joint host Kale here, and of course yours truly. Today's episode is brought to you by KarmaMMMS. In KarmaMMMS, we believe people who have conditions that may be treated through the use of cannabis should be able to do so without fear of discrimination, persecution, or fear of arrest. They take care of patients from Ottawa to Halifax, and by take care of, I mean how people grow, prepare, consume, and manage their medical marijuana. As we start, there's a couple of shout-outs I wanted to shout out about. First is Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana. We're all members. They're the ones that are using the T-shirt. It's the shirt that Bob's wearing. There you go. It says Mom on the front and on the back. I'll show you that when I tell you who won the shirt. And Mad Stories, madstories.ca. That's David Shea's site. Great resource about all the things that are happening in the medical marijuana community. Check it out. Really worthwhile. So you've talked to your doctor, and he set you on the medical marijuana plan if you can find a doctor that's willing to do it at all. And, well, you don't know what to do from there, and that's why we're here. So you can figure out how to use your medicine and how to prepare yourself for the shitstorm that's on its way. Us and other groups like the Medical Cannabis Patients Alliance of Canada, the MCPAC, they're here for the exact same thing. They've put together a public service announcement in the hopes of informing the general public that cannabis is here, available, and a real option to discuss with your doctor.
Never noticed the long list of side effects that most medications come with? Even listing risk of death? Does it make sense to put something into your body that could cause death while you only strive to be healthy? Prescription medications do not work for everyone, and most have serious side effects, causing your supplies of prescriptions to increase for treating symptoms that other medications cause. Fortunately for Canadians, Health Canada provides a safe, natural alternative for you. At the turn of the 20th century, cannabis was the most widely used medicine in the world, with over 5,000 years of recorded use and not one single recorded death. It has been used successfully for a number of conditions due to the unique medicinal qualities of the natural plant. In 2000, Health Canada approved the medicinal use of cannabis for a wide range of conditions to improve the lives of Canadians. Side effects of cannabis may include increased appetite, dry mouth, euphoria, or drowsiness. As with any medication, care must be taken when initially treating conditions with cannabis until the proper dose is established. Cannabis may not be for everyone, but it may be a healthy alternative for you. Talk to your doctor or contact us for more information.
Okay, that was a great video, guys, and a great way to lead into our today's topic. We're going to talk about the medical marijuana program phasing out and what we expect to be left with. Ted Smith, legalize versus decriminalize.
Yeah, Ted Smith, that was the video that we took at the Mom Educational Forum where he Skyped in. A couple of people stood up and asked him a couple of questions, and so I'm going to play that video. And there he talks about a couple things, like you said, legalize and decriminalize. And then we get Cheryl Rose. I don't know anybody if they know Cheryl and Haley from Facebook, and just the movement itself, pretty prominent. We're going to talk about CBD legislation, whether or not it's a good idea to legalize part of the plant or the whole plant. Talk about Italy and their plan to dump cannabis laws. The RCMP saying that the medical marijuana program is being abused. And Bobby will get to yeah, holy cow. And Bobby's going to talk about what he wants to talk about. He put himself together a bit of a letter because he's a little pissed off and he wants to get that off his chest. And what else is there? There's Kale, anything else?
The Epilepsy Foundation calls for increased medical marijuana access and research. The Epilepsy Foundation supports the rights of patients and families living with seizures and epilepsy to access physician-directed care including medical marijuana. Nothing should stand in the way of patients gaining access to potentially life-saving treatment.
Exactly. I mean, it's like Dawn. I mean, you get somebody with epilepsy that hasn't been able to get a license yet. There's no way on God's green earth, if you've got epilepsy, that you shouldn't be able to get a license somehow. That's the doctors. That's the problem. We're also going to talk about Health Canada approving the Volcano Medic Vaporizer for medical marijuana. Well, not so much talk about it. Talking about it now. That's about all I'm going to say. And that's put out by CanMed for $669 on their website. And CanMed for those.
And what's the income for somebody who's sick and at home?
Well, not very good. If you're on pension, that's your month, right?
Yeah.
I hope you can pay rent or power. And
Thanks for the approval.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Health Canada approved it. CanMed is Prairie Plant Systems, so I don't know who got paid to do that, but there was some serious lobbying to be the ones that have the one that gets to be the sole provider. So the only legal vaporizer that you can get as far as Health Canada is concerned.
It's a money issue. What a surprise.
Exactly. Then there's the privacy lawsuit by Michaela Cooper for all of us that got outed by Health Canada when they sent around that the medical marijuana envelope in the big window. That gets the go-ahead in allowing the plaintiffs to remain anonymous. The government wanted, they're going to use the names John Doe and Susie Jones. Okay, the government wanted them to use their real names. Well, it's a privacy lawsuit.
Yeah.
Why would it
expose yourself to the
defend your privacy? Stupid. But
they
got the federal government squashed on that. Thank God. And it happened faster than I thought it would. I thought it would take it forever just to do that first part. I figured it would have taken like a year just to get approved to remain anonymous.
I thought they would have definitely dragged their feet on that. And I'm really surprised that they actually allowed it. Well, without dragging it out.
Exactly. Well, that's just it. Maybe it's because it has to be done soon. This is all coming to a head.
Yeah.
They can only drag their feet for so long. I mean,
They're beginning to play dirty now too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Dirty like the Conservatives wanted to do the Justin Trudeau zigzag papers they were going to put around. Okay, well, they didn't end up actually doing that, but
that would have done Trudeau more good than bad, I think.
But it still happened. Chris Goodwin from Cannabis Culture, he still he went out and did it. He made the papers, he made the T-shirts, all with Justin's picture on it. I'll put that up. And that's that. So right now, we're going to talk about, like I said, the Ted Smith Skype interview from the Educational Forum as we discussed the upcoming protest and his views on legalized versus decriminalized, the possibility of fraud within the new program, because within the new program, with so many licensed producers, all the labels that are your licenses could be anything. You can just making them up yourself. If you want, print them off on a bubble jet, wrap it around a pill bottle, and throw your pot in, and the cops would be no the wiser. And we discussed removing marijuana as a Schedule II drug from the CDSA, as the Joint Senate Committee stated back in 2008. And like it stated on the back of Bobby's T-shirt, the T-shirt that you're going to win when I pull your name out of this hat. Hope you're all excited as I am. Okay.
I wear this proudly.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. The continued prohibition, turn around for a sec. The continued prohibition of cannabis jeopardizes the health and well-being of Canadians much more than does the substance itself. The Senate Special Committee on Illegal Drugs 2002 summary, page 45. And there's a lot of pages in that document. I'll be putting up the link to the document on the show, so if anybody actually wants to go check it out, it's worthwhile. You won't believe that they didn't read. Okay? That's what we need to do now, is remove cannabis from the schedule that it's on. And the only way to do that was what they tried to do in 2002, and nobody wanted to listen then. It's almost like we need to do it again to make people. So many people don't even know that happened. That's the problem.
Well, this is it. There's so much misinformation given out by the ruling class that's in the government right now, and they're taking full advantage of the total ignorance of the topic. So it's up to everyone to get up off their ass, stop playing, Jenga and stuff like this, and, get online and take a look at Google. Google the living shit out of this stuff.
It's there. It's all there. You just gotta look. And here's Ted Smith and what he had to say on the video. It's just short, it's well worth the watch.
Does anybody else have anything that they want to discuss with Ted? Come on up.
I'd like to know if marijuana should be legalized or decriminalized.
Well, I think it needs to be legalized.
It needs to be legalized.
Yeah, I've sort of referred to decriminalization as a lawyer's term for job protection. Because it's only a half measure. We need it to be legal for a number of different reasons. For one, as long as the rest of us are treated like addicts or criminals in any sense, it will be very hard for this plant to be accepted and used medicinally for all of its benefit. When it's fully legal, the price will be brought down substantially, and we'll see a lot of benefits come from it. And I think it should be an important part of the economy and legal, just like everything else is legal. I don't think it deserves some kind of special status as not, being taxable or somehow applicable to other statutory laws. I think that we should be given an opportunity to have it where we can buy it in the store, where we know it's grown properly and where it's been tested for its THC content and these sorts of things. I think that's a good way to go. But I think people need to grow their own. I think, or be able to. That's a really important part of a fully legal system, that, it isn't legal so long as people aren't able to grow their own, when they want and where they want. Until it's all the way there, I'm not going to be satisfied, that's for sure. But decriminalization allows them to do any number of things, like ticket us, treat us like addicts. We can still be barred from traveling and school and stuff like that. So I'm really not too much for decrim.
Well, I agree with you, but I had a friend that had come in here today and asked me to ask. I said, I'll do that, but I'm pretty sure legalization is the way to go.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear that.
I had a friend that knew I'd come in here today and wanted me to ask.
Okay.
And that's whether it should be decriminalized or legalized. I said, I'm sure it should be legalized. I'm glad you gave me that answer.
So it's a big topic out here because there's this Central BC thing that's trying to decriminalize it, which is a good step, but it's really only a step in the right direction. It's not all the way. And a lot of people are afraid that we'll get it decriminalized but won't go any further. But that's not the goal at all. We just want them to stop arresting us, and then we'll work towards legalizing it.
That's Volcaire's idea, by the way. He wants to decriminalize it, Volcaire.
Now, do you think that's only going to happen by changing the schedule that it is on, from Schedule 1 or Schedule A to Schedule, to take it off of that as bad as cocaine or methamphetamine kind of list? And is that where it pretty much has to happen from, you think, or?
I think the courts would be able to do that if they were presented with the right expert evidence. Unfortunately, we haven't had a really great case with quality expert evidence that would prove that it shouldn't be scheduled in with these other narcotics. But it's more likely to happen politically with a change of government than it is in court. It would cost a lot of money and time for all the expert evidence to do that, and I don't know of any cases happening working in that direction right now.
The courts only have the power to remove it from the criminal code, but not from the CDSA. That's politics, and it's political action that has to be done.
But would that not be one of the...
That's the right answer, is to have it removed from the CDSA. And it can be used for personal use, industry, everything else. And your only licensing would be for commercial growing.
Because all the arguments that I always hear about are all charter challenges. It's my right. I should be allowed to
remove
this
it
and that.
from the criminal code.
Should it all just be going? Maybe just going at the point of changing, the schedule of the drug in the first place.
Right, but you have to get government to do that.
Okay, but is there any action that you guys are aware of in that direction of changing it from the schedule?
There always has been. The 2002 Senate report by Claude Nolan was exactly that. Remove cannabis from the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. It doesn't belong there. And they ignored it.
Well, it was just a recommendation.
Right. That's all anybody can really do is recommend to the government that it's removed. So when we went to court for R versus Godfrey, and I had my extra little private chat with the prosecutor because he was a confined audience, we were in the elevator, and I asked him, how are we going to get this off the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act? He said, you're already doing it. You're doing the right thing. He said, you're making enough noise that all you need now is a change in government to have enough brains to take it off. But you've got to get a government that's going to be willing to go in and go against all of the industries that it affects. Pharmaceuticals, textiles, oils, everybody. They've got to have the balls to go against those industries to be able to remove it from that.
Now, in the framework that you're talking, are you talking about legalizing, decriminalizing, or repealing?
Repeal without reenactment is what it's called.
So just like it's a tomato plant.
It's a tomato.
Okay.
So if you want to grow tomatoes yourself in your backyard, you can. If you want to grow them indoors hydroponically, you can. If you want to grow 1,000 tons of tomatoes, then you need a commercial license. Hemp would be no different, or cannabis would be no different. The same thing. If you're going to be producing it for industry, then you'd have to be licensed for that amount. But repealing it means you take away the black market, which means it's worth nothing. That's the true answer. That's the one that lowers the crime.
People can grow fields of the stuff and make oil by the gallon as opposed to little tiny 5-gram vials.
Correct. And it's worth nothing.
You can pour it all over your body.
Exactly. Bathe in it. Definitely help with the scar tissue, wouldn't it?
Good.
When you get to the part of that salad, that's all you grow money in the middle of the garden and sell it.
I have a faster than ever. Anybody else any questions for Ted?
Yeah.
Going once, going twice.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, folks.
Looks like we're done.
Thanks for coming, Ted. I really appreciate that. It's nice that we started off as a bit of a panic. There was no noise, so holy shit. So I'm just glad it all worked out. Fantastic, yeah. I think it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think what you're about to do is what a bunch of us are about to need to do. So it's good timing for you to get your smoke break and we can have ours.
Yep.
Alrighty then.
I'll be out to see you in 3 months.
Thanks a lot,
Ted.
Ted.
My pleasure, guys.
Great talking to you.
Have a great day. Well, thank you.
Best to Gail.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
There she is. Hi, girl.
You guys are wonderful.
And maybe on March 8th when we do our meeting where we're, like I said, we'll get together and be making the signs and organizing to find out who's going to go to Ottawa and who's going to go to court. Maybe we'll give you a call if you're available, see if you can Skype in and say, hey, what's going on?
It'd be wonderful. It's nice to see you guys.
Right on. Thanks a lot.
Keep up the good work.
How are you feeling anyway, Gail? Good?
Really good, thanks. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Getting better.
That's perfect. All right. You guys take care. Bless your body. Bye-bye.
Cheryl Rose, her daughter Haley, and how the new regulations will affect them. Cheryl Rose, the mother of an epileptic woman, says the only treatment that works for her daughter's epilepsy, cannabis, will become unaffordable under Health Canada's new medical marijuana regulations, meaning she will be forced to either break the law or watch her child suffer. Cheryl says since she began illegally giving her 20-year-old daughter Haley marijuana in 2008, her seizures have dropped from hundreds a month to roughly a dozen. Come April, however, new Health Canada rules will limit Rose's access. Currently, Haley's treatment costs $200 a month. Haley grows her own pot, which she calls Haley's Comet, which she grinds into a powder before it's measured into capsules for consumption with food 3 times a day. Cheryl Rose says if she's forced to buy the 40 grams a day Haley uses from approved growers, her treatment will cost thousands a month.
That's 40 grams a day. For the people that think that you can't use 30 or 40 or 50 grams a day, this is a young girl. She's 20 then. Okay, 20 now, sorry. Back then in 2008, okay, she wasn't 20 and she was still eating that kind of, that dosage and functioning. Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
There's no way to afford that kind of medication, she says. Like it's been said in thousands of patient cases, this is going to be a matter of life and death for many Canadians.
Exactly. Cheryl and Haley joined a lot of us MUM members, the MCPAC, when we protested on Parliament Hill in 2011 to fight the dreaded omnibus crime bill in the frigid minus 28 Canadian winter and our hope to stop the Safer Communities legislation. The protest just months before my fire was my first trip to Parliament Hill and my pleasure to meet Cheryl and Haley, hear their stories and get inspired by the strength I saw shining from such an incredible young lady. Even when security in-house had her get out of her wheelchair for the security check, and a couple of the guards stood back to the side saying, see, she doesn't even need a wheelchair. She remained composed and determined to have her voice heard inside. Because I'll tell you right now, I'd have slapped somebody. I'd have slapped somebody. But sick. Okay, more. Just because you have a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't walk. It means you can't walk all the time. Okay, sometimes you need to sit your ass down. Okay, somebody. I can't wait for these people. Karma's a bitch. Okay, and when these people need a wheelchair themselves, and they get, I can't wait. Good on you. Thanks, Haley, for showing me how I should be, not how they. Thank you. So hopefully that for her sake and a lot of others that this gets solved. Next is the CBD legislation that they're trying to put through. People are trying to legalize just parts of the plant. Okay, just the CBD with no THC, because then it's for kids and they're not getting high. What about that?
What about the children?
What about the, oh dear Jesus, won't somebody please think about the children? Okay, I mean it's.
We'll give them oil that doesn't have THC. It has mainly CBD.
And that's fine for some things.
If anyone does any kind of research on any kind of pharmaceuticals based on plant, extracts, whatever, you'll find that historically it's been a bad thing. Once you start dividing up what's in that plant, it's going to start a whole new revolution of problems, and it's usually the people who need it the most won't get it.
Absolutely. They're putting people right out of it. And by separating the different parts of the plant, okay, they're misunderstanding the way it works. It goes together, okay? The CBD, yes, that helps with seizures and stuff, but what about other kids that have other problems, okay? It's the whole leave no child left behind idea, right? I mean, that's by just legalizing one part of it, everybody else that can benefit from the plant too also wind up screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and this is not a therapy that's like going to the pharmacy for a pill. It's something you have to tinker with, and as your child is on it longer, you need to adjust it. Not just dosage, but in terms of THC content. There are a lot of factors that create a need to change the regimen. If you want the best seizure control, there's not necessarily a dose you can always just stick with. You need to be open-minded. Okay? And
well, see, this is it. That's where, like, my own personal view on the topic is that you should stop treating it as a drug. Stop treating it as a drug altogether. Treat it as it's actually logically listed as a herbaceous plant. It's a vegetable. So treat it like that. Put that into your drinks. Put that into your food. Smoke it, vaporize it, do whatever, because nobody has ever died from its use, ever.
Absolutely. And like you said, you got to put it back in your diet. People are juicing the stuff, okay? You can do it. The problem with juicing is you need to have so many plants at different stages of life, okay?
Yes.
So back to the growing problem again. So if you don't actually have the luxury of being able to grow it, okay, you're going to be going to the store every day. If you can grow it yourself, you should be able to do that. It doesn't even make sense. We did the juicing one episode before. Maybe we'll talk about that in another episode because it's really worthwhile going over again, I think.
Yeah, I don't know enough about raw juicing to really give.
There's a video online. All you got to do is YouTube. I think her name is Leaf.
Yeah.
And boom, up she comes. But that's about all. I mean, it's a big debate, though, over CBD versus THC, if you should separate it or keep it together. I say keep it together. Don't strip the plant, okay? You can't strip mine. You strip mine the world, it doesn't look good. You can't strip mine the plant, right?
Exactly.
There are so many of the cannabinoids that we benefit from, some of them more beneficial than others, but there's a reason why they're all in there, in my opinion.
And nobody knows why.
We need them all in one form.
They haven't even discovered the ones that are all in there yet, okay? And they want to start excluding stuff, okay?
And that's what you should be asking your doctor, because when they start saying, oh, well, this, that, hey, look, which would you rather me eat? A vitamin C pill or an orange? Which one's better for me?
Absolutely. Why strip it when you can just use the whole damn thing?
And if he says the pill, find yourself a new doctor because he's a fucking quack.
Okay. What else is going on? You're going to tell us about Italy. Tell us what's going on in Italy.
They're getting rid of some cannabis laws.
Thank God.
And it looks like they're going to be releasing about 10,000 marijuana prisoners after dropping an old, outdated law and relieving the overcrowded prisons. It will no longer be classified the same as coke or heroin, with prison terms of 6 to 20 years, but will return to the old laws where it is treated differently, and prison terms are more like 2 to 6 years.
I mean, and that only makes sense. So they made the law harder, like Harper's doing, filled the prisons and went, man, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, and now they're going to put the law back to the way it was and let everybody out. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just skip that step. Okay. Let's just skip that step.
Let's learn from other people's mistakes.
But Harper doesn't learn from anybody. He knows fucking everything. Okay. Let's not get too excited. Okay. What about the RCMP?
Well, oh my God.
No, I don't mean that. I mean about them saying that the medical marijuana program is being
medical
abused.
Marijuana. The RCMP have come out in full force, in the red surges and said, medical marijuana program is being abused. It's a big danger to the public. First of all, there is nothing about it that's dangerous. Second of all these violations they're talking about is 70 violations. Out of those 70, only 40 in diversion. Now that really doesn't make a lot of sense to people who don't know.
40 out of 40,000 people.
So let's take a look at these numbers, shall we? That would be less than 0.1%. 0.1% is a big danger. 0.1%. I have 0.1% chance of winning the lotto. You know what? I am not going to win the lotto tomorrow. I'm pretty damn sure. Anyone with common sense who actually looks at these numbers, just because an RCMP officer says something doesn't mean that it's a fact. That's been shown time and time again. Look at the news. Read the news headlines.
Well, yeah. I mean, when they take your plants down, they call each one worth $1,000. So let's start there. So in the newspaper, they say they bust somebody for $50,000 because there's 50 plants. It just makes it sound. Everything sounds bigger. They inflate everything. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Okay, and like you said, we're talking 0.1% is involved.
And they talk about abusing the program. Let's take a look at this abuse of the program. When an RCMP officer gets paid $60,000 for his wages, but yet, if he's going on these raids on people who have licenses, his paycheck doubles to $120,000 a year for overtime. Just for going out on these. Okay? So, which would you do? Take $60,000 and be a nice police officer, or Oh, I'm just doing my job, which, by the way, the brown shirts and Hitler, I won't even go into that, but you know what I'm saying. Okay? It's crap.
Because if there's any program in place, okay, it's open for abuse. Okay, just because it's medical marijuana doesn't mean that that's the problem. Okay, you can abuse everything from prescriptions to liquor to test scores to politics. The politicians are abusing that system.
Politicians abuse power.
Exactly. You can abuse any system. Okay, hell, there's people that abuse the hell out of chocolate. I'm one of them. Okay, see this? This is chocolate, baby. Okay, it's what happens. Okay, you can abuse anything that you want. Okay, why is marijuana abuse the hotbed? It's got to stop. On top of that, I thought it was really interesting. Like you said, we were talking about politics being able to be abused. I mean, the Conservatives just went on a big tirade. They were going to introduce Justin Trudeau's zigzag papers into Parliament when they were sat down next.
I want to say
it was a good idea that they didn't do, but Chris Goodwin of Vapor Central pounced on the idea and is now selling the papers and T-shirts online. I think they're hilarious. You can get them at torontohemp.com, and I'll put the link up if anybody that's interested. And here's a picture of them. Local news and events. We got the Sweet Leaf Smoke Shop. Moved. They're now at 2859 Illsville Street in Halifax. Islesville? I don't know how to say that.
Islesville.
Yeah. They're on the corner of Bilby Street in Islesville now. It's just a little further down the road. Wasn't too hard to find. They got a nice little cubby around back to feel nice and discreet about. They're great down there. I suggest we go down, have a talk with Lynn and Lewis and everybody else down there. I want to thank Lynn for ordering the raw bamboo rolling mats. Just so anybody that doesn't know what I mean, that's this. It's a neat little rig. I showed them once on the show before. It's just a rolling device, and I've been asking shops that I've been going to for the last year to order them for me, and Lynn's finally going to do it. I guess Cale didn't like it because he would rather have it on the floor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think everybody should want one of those. I'll tell you, I think the next contest, after the next contest that we're about to have, I'll be giving one of those away because I told her I want at least a half a dozen of the damn things. They're amazing. And so anybody that's going to be looking for them, just so you know, they're going to be at Sweet Leaf because nobody else in Metro has them. Okay, and they're awesome.
I'm going to be going there myself.
I'll be taking half of them. I guarantee. I know people looking for them. And speaking of places where we can buy our equipment and smoking accessories, I bought my G-Pen from Toronto Vaporizer, and while it arrived fast and even charged, I'm sure that's just because they wanted my money. I love this G-Pen. It's an amazing rig. I'm so happy with it. But the charger fell apart, and I've sent them several emails to inform them and ask them what their policy is. And it seems to me that their policy is to bury their heads in the sand. Okay, the site works because they were able to take my money, take my order, and send me the device, but they feel no need to get back to me at all. Like I said, several emails, no response. They might be a great site, all kinds of things to use, but they have no customer service. So I want to say, Toronto Vaporizer, thanks for nothing. Okay.
Shame on you.
Now, coming up next is the Fight the MMPR campaign. People that don't know, April 1st, I think we all know April 1st, we're screwed. Yeah. But April 1st, there's a big protest happening. It's going to be a lot of people headed to Ottawa. Ted Smith, it's the same protest that we've already had 3 times at our local MP's offices, as organized by Ted Smith out of Vancouver.
Yeah,
this time they're all headed to Ottawa.
I believe I'm going to be going up there with Marcel and a few others.
Oh, I wish I could go. I can't swing it.
That's the plan anyway. Anything can happen. So.
But for the rest of you that can't swing going into Ottawa, we're going to be doing it here, probably in front of the Halifax Courthouse on Spring Garden Road, April 1st. We'll be talking about all this March 8th, this Saturday at the Bedford Legion. I'd like to invite you to join us as we make plans, make signs, and organize for the protest. We're going to hope to have Ted Smith again, Skyping in with ideas for signs and the like. So I ask everybody else to think of some sign ideas for yourself. Try to keep the profanity down. Speaking of which, I mean, somebody posted on Facebook today that, well, it was Lori from the MCPAC. She had sent the letter off, and she got a response back that even though she had sent such a negative letter, he was so impressed that she was one of the very few people that didn't feel the need to curse and swear and just threaten and just go completely apeshit on him. And I think that's something to consider. I mean,
well, of course it is. I mean,
it's easy to get excited.
Anyone who knows me personally knows that I'm flinging out the F words left, right, and center.
Not you.
But if you're going to be talking to them about your life, you got to rein it in, and you got to take a deep breath and wade through their bullshit.
Absolutely, I agree, and it's hard not to lose it and snap and want to scream and yell and call people names, but it doesn't get you anywhere. So it's, my mom always used to say, you get more flies behind you, right?
Yeah.
So that is the truth. You might feel better for a minute. The thing is, they're going to make you wait. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're like that, okay, things don't move along as easily. They go, oh, it's that guy again. Yeah, we're going to wait for, you talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You talk to him.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to handle your case. So anyway, I got off topic. Think of some signs. Hope to see you guys there. We're going to have the paints, we'll have the markers. There'll be poster board there. Maybe do some finger painting. In keeping with this topic, John Turmel has created a kit to be filed in court. He published on YouTube on March 1st a video on how to do the kit, how to fill it out. And it's basically a kit to protect your right to grow. It's asking for an extension on your grow permit, and it's asking for damages for having to tear down your garden.
Yeah.
He posts here, says it only costs $2 to file the statement of claim online by PDF, but I know it's also $50 if it's for less than $50,000 if you're going down to do it, and $150 if it's for more than $50,000. The resistance is rising. The Fantastic Four just filed claims in federal court to strike marijuana from Schedule 2 of the CDSA or for damages from having to destroy marijuana plants in the production facility. Lawrence Cherniak claimed over $1 million for his 25K at $15 a gram for 560 plants, and at $1,000 a plant and equipment losses. Sam Malace claimed over $5 million for his investment in the New Age Clinic plus his 20K and 400 plants. Mine personally should come in around $175,000 for $1,000 a plant, $15 a gram for destroying my storage, $15 a gram for 365 days worth of potential crop that I'm losing, plus my equipment, nutrients, sundries, everything else that I had to destroy.
See, now this is important, I think, to say. You should go after these numbers. Go after them, because these are their numbers, the way they do the calculations, the way they say it. So if they're telling you you have to stick to rules, you make them stick to their own rules.
Exactly. Like I use their numbers. Okay, like we were talking about for the diversion and stuff. It's 40 to 40,000. Those are their numbers. That's where I get them.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
play their game.
Play
with their numbers.
Yeah.
You're playing by the rules anyway. Okay, they're not by our rules. So that being the case, there'll be a statement of claim and instructions and record of motion for interim exemption from prohibitions until trial, with and for out-of-towners too. I mean, you can check it out on his website. Courts will be added to the statement of claim for later filers, so it may get even better. We're all going in for general sittings on Tuesday, March 11th, 2014 in Toronto and Montreal, Wednesday, March 12th in Halifax, Ottawa, and Vancouver, and other cities must book a special hearing. stay tuned on the MedPot Combat Engineer on John Turmel on Facebook. I'll put up the link here for the actual video. Okay, save that, go check it out. He's an excitable feller. Actually yelled out once, made me jump. So,
well, some people might take a look at him and say, well, look, I don't. He's too hard to follow. I don't want to listen to his crap. Look, follow him, listen to it.
He knows his shit.
I don't agree with a lot of his stuff, but look. The government wants you to fill out forms. Fill out your own damn forms. Fill out John's forms and hand those in. If they want to chew on something, give them something to chew on.
That's not a bad idea. Now, I mean, you got again, all this stuff has to be done as nicely as we can possibly do it. Okay, we're not supposed to be lunatics, so
that's right.
Everybody try and remain calm and as we can be. Really, I mean,
to be, but are we allowed to be?
We can be.
Yeah,
I feel like it sometimes. But that being said, also I want to mention that Mum's the Word is out, mailed, and that's the fact. It's out in the shops now. A lot dropped off or mailed out, and just want to say that if anybody's interested in adding to it, there you go. Mum's the Word, and a lot of interesting stories like the Charter Challenge and Stephen Godfrey's trial out of Amherst. And Bobby was another one that was there. I mean, they were together.
The masked one, Bane,
looking like Bane on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's if you have stories that you want to add, or you've got concerns, or you've got a rant, something that you want to get off your chest, you can either submit it to Mum's the Word, and we'll put it out in print, or you can submit it to us here, and we'll get it out on video, and everybody can hear what you have to say. It's important to you put it out there, and then there's going to be a response, and maybe you're going to get some answers to some questions that you couldn't get answered before. So,
yeah,
just a thought. Also, want to mention there's a new book out. It's separate from everything else here. It's put out by the some burn survivors. It's put together by a friend of mine, Alyssa Christensen, who was kind enough to include me in my story. So, and I want to thank her for including me and helping other burn survivors share their stories. The book's called Do I Believe? It can be found on doibelieve.net. It's the website, and it sends you to the site where you can buy the book. She also did another book a few years back about her own burn recovery entitled The Gimp. A very powerful book, and a look into how tragedy and the struggle of how someone can go through something so horrible and still find the strength to not just survive, but go on and work to improve the lives of others. So I think that's it's something if you're interested, check it out. But I just wanted to say thank you, and I told her I'd let everybody know about it.
This guy's featured in the book, so
yeah.
Now that's all out of the way, Bobby wanted to talk for a minute, and he's got one hell of a story here, and I'll let you kind of go with that.
Okay. Well, this here is basically the second letter I've sent out. The first letter was about a year ago, and it was to all the levels of government. It all went to my MLA at that time, was Maryland Do Nothing More. And, right up to the MPs, right up to the PMO's office. And it basically explained that at that time the MMAR program wasn't sufficient for me because it was costing me a lot of money.
Yeah.
By the time I paid for my doctor to sign, which was at the bare minimum $250, the high end, after trying to look for a doctor, I was given quotes of $1,500 to sign. Just to sign.
Highway robbery.
Yeah. And then
extortion.
Extortion. And I was receiving nothing from workers' compensation because they said, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. And I said, yeah, there's all kinds of things wrong with me. It's just you don't believe it. And I went through all that, suffered through it, and if it wasn't for people like John Cook, who we know, the late great John Cook, can't say enough
No,
you know,
John was amazing, and he'd fight for anybody, man.
Yeah.
What a crusader.
And I basically explained to the government their error, okay? The program is screwing me up. I need to have better access. Now, this is all in conjunction with the Supreme Court ruling saying that we need to have better access. That's why the MMPR that's why the gears started rolling for that. They said, oh, we got a better thing coming. Well, that better thing has totally priced me out.
It's worse.
It's worse than that. It taken my rights away. It's priced me out, priced anyone I know of out, and scared the hell out of existing patients. They're scared to death that the RCMP are going to come kicking in their door because out in BC, the RCMP already said all medical marijuana patients are criminals. Now, if that doesn't show an open bias, nothing does. Anyway, so my letter's like a couple pages long. I won't bother reading the whole thing because I'm long-winded to begin with.
Yes, kind of give us the idea.
Yeah, I'm just basically quoting the MMPR, MMAR, their illegal and unlawful treatment of patients through cruel and unusual treatment, which is a charter violation. I don't even have to repeat that.
It's all the same arguments that are basically in John Turmell's kit.
Yeah, and their own Supreme Court ruling says you have to make it more accessible to these people. That doesn't mean, yes, you can have access to it, but you have to pay through the nose. That's an impossibility, and nobody in the right mind is going to fall for that. Now, most people are scared to death. I know there's people I know of that are scared to death of even trying to go through with the MMPR, even though it's going to, a certified plant, that the money is going to somebody else. It's bullshit. It's a harmless plant. Nobody should be stripped from it. And that's your right. That's your right. Now, if you go with the MMPR program or the MMAR program, you're violating your own rights. You're giving over your own rights. You don't have to. And the government knows that because the Supreme Court ruling backs it up. And that's the law. Tell the government, back up what you say. That's all. It's as simple as that.
That's pretty simple, yeah.
So all I want to do, I don't want to be arrested. I'm not provoking the cops. I'm not, giving them that. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is saying, look, if we want to get this cleared up once and for all, take me to court, charge me. I'm at home most of the time. It takes me a week and a half to prepare myself to come out to here because I have environmental sensitivities. I can't use Tylenol, baby Tylenol. One baby Tylenol will set me in bed for 6 weeks, throwing up and diarrhea and everything else. Would you submit your family member to that? No. Let me grow some cannabis. Nobody dies from it. Nobody's harmed from it. And nobody's going to be buying it from me because I'm using it myself. It's for me.
And you just want to do this. If they're going to come get you now.
Yes.
I'm here. Take me. Don't come kick my door
and don't say that I didn't tell you that I was going to do this. I told you a year ago. Told you. I got the letters. Send it in. I got all the names in the letters. Go to mcpac.org. Go to that site. Check them out. Ask them about it. I have it documented all over the place in the provincial, federal, municipal courts, everything. It's all filed there. I'm going to take John Trammell's kit and I'm going to fill that out this week and send it in. Everyone should fill in as much paperwork as you can and choke up the government with their own crap, because that's all it is.
Now, we will have kits at the meeting on Saturday, so I'm not going to have a bunch because they're 54 pages.
Yes.
One's 54 pages, one's 13. You've got to fill them out, sign them, make 7 copies of each of them.
Yes.
And take them in, okay? So if you can file it online, like he said, for $2, you still got to print it out once, sign it, scan it, and send it to them as a PDF.
Yeah.
So 7 copies at that many pages, that's a ream. That's a ream of paper. You're looking at $25 worth of copies at a page.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that being the case, I gotta stop saying that.
We edited
Bobby,
it twice last time.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you guys, we edited that out twice last time.
If I could have edited out more, I would have.
Edit this out again, so you
Yeah.
might not get to hear what I just said. Had to say that.
But thanks, Bobby, for coming on and letting everybody know that. And I understand what you're saying. I mean, like, if you're gonna come get me, I'm admitting that I'm doing it now. Just here, take me. Let's just get this over with, okay?
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna come get me, I mean,
yeah, don't have the sword of Damocles hanging over my head. Don't have a threat hanging over me, because that's part of my problem. Stress affects my health.
So
We
you
are
basically
all
surrender.
patients.
You basically surrender. You go, here, take me.
I'm done playing.
And if they don't, they got to come later. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This is the easiest way to take somebody is when they're surrendering. So if they're doing it the other way, they're just doing it to make it dramatic. So thanks. The contest. Okay, the last contest was people that liked the video on the mom site or on the Karma Compassion Facebook page. I collected all your names in a hat. Here they are. All kinds of names in the hat. No? I'll let you guys handle it. One of you pull the name.
Let's stir them around a bit.
This is totally random, folks. Totally random.
Evelyn Hain.
It's Gary Nevlin.
Gary Nevlin. Okay.
There you go. You won the Lost Bong too. That's not even fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a mom T-shirt. I'll have to get Debbie's arm bent up so she can get a T-shirt out to you. That's awesome. Congratulations. The next contest is one that I'm putting together, or we're putting together with Temptations. It's a store on in Halifax on Titus Street, and they've got a gift bag they'd like to give away. And so I'm trying to come up with an idea for a good contest. This is what we're going to do. The first person to go in to Temptations in Halifax on Titus Street, I'll post up the address here in a sec, and say that the Maritime Medical Marijuana Show told me to come get my free shit. Okay, gets the big prize. Be friendly, because if you're a dick about it, you won't get anything. I'll make sure of it. Okay, so you got to go in and nicely say, the Maritime Medical Marijuana Show told me to come in and get my free shit, and you will win the prize. So first, there's only one prize. First person that gets to go in and do it gets the prize. So pop in. He's got all kinds of stuff to see. He's very current on the newest stuff when they get in. He puts them out first. So pop in, check it out, and say hi. Let him know that we said hi, and we'll find out who you were when you won the big prize. He'll let us know. That's all. That's all there is about that. I've got, of course, Free Mark.
Don't forget Free Mark.
freemark.ca. Go to the website, send in your support, write a letter, donate, be part of the solution.
Yeah.
The next show, this show, we were supposed to have somebody here to talk to us about water. Hopefully we can get him for the next episode. That'll be an interesting talk. It's always nice to talk about water. I mean, he does it for both the growing and just as we need it for ourselves and households. He's an expert. So be nice to talk to him and see how everybody does on that contest. Did either of you guys have something else you guys want to get off your chest?
Just a shout out to Marcel and Lori there at Medical Cannabis Patients Alliance Canada.
Just needed a shorter name.
Yeah. MC Pack.
There you go.
Yeah. They're a great organization, and you should contact them at mcpacanada.org, I believe it is.
Absolutely. I'll put that link up here in a second.
Yeah. And just keep on tuning in.
Peace, love, and hippie shit. You guys take care. See you next time.